Hey there, it's Benj Foreman with Triple Chord Real Estate, and in this video I'm going to talk about acreage properties in the Boise area and the Treasure Valley, what to look for, where they're found, price points, and at the end I'll actually talk to a property owner so you can get an idea of what it's like to actually maintain and own a property like this. And I think you'll see that there's a few things you probably should be aware of before you pull the trigger and purchase a property like this. Now in Boise and in the Treasure Valley, there's actually quite a range of acreage properties. Currently, there are 300 or so properties that are over an acre that are for sale here. The cheapest one is in Parma for $379,000, and the most expensive one is in Eagle for $10 million. So that's quite a range. So how do you talk about acreage properties in the Treasure Valley? So what I like to do is divide them into two categories. What I call traditional acreage properties and high-end acreage properties, and I'll talk about each one of these individually. So traditional acreage properties are properties that have a 1,500 to 2,500 foot home on one or more acres of land. These properties usually are in the $500,000 to $900,000 range, and a lot of these homes were built at the tail end of the mid-century, so the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So because of that, a lot of them will have a mid-century type of a feel. So a lot of these homes typically won't have the split bedroom floor plan that you see in more modern houses, where you have the master on one side of the house and then the guest bedrooms on the other side of the house. Typically, in these traditional acreage properties, the bedrooms will be clustered on one side of the home. And then a lot of these also won't have their own separate laundry room. So it's not uncommon to find a washer and a dryer in the garage or in a closet. But not all of them. Some of them will actually have a washboard near the well of the house to do the laundry. Just kidding on that one. And a lot of these homes won't have vaulted ceilings. You'll typically find 8-foot ceilings, sometimes even lower. Some of the homes have 7'9" ceilings, so if you're a tall guy like me, you might want to be careful. Sometimes ceiling fans hang down low and they might just lop off your head if you're not careful. So because a lot of these homes are older, many of them aren't updated, but if they are, their value goes up quite significantly. Now, what most people like about these properties is that most of these don't have an HOA or CC&Rs. So you can do what you want with the land. You can raise your chickens or your ducks or your horses, and you don't have an HOA telling you what you can or can't do with your property. These traditional acreage properties are usually on their own individual wells, which has its advantages and disadvantages, which you'll see later on in this video. And they usually are on their own septic system rather than on the city sewer system. Now, usually you'll find these properties in South or Southwest Boise or in the older parts of Star. Now, high-end acreage homes are homes that are in the $900,000 to $5 million range. A lot of these homes have been built within the past 5 years, and they have the upgraded features that you'll typically find in new homes. So these homes will feature things like an open floor plan. A lot of the homes, the kitchen will flow into the living room. The kitchens will have upgraded features like quartz or granite countertops, butler pantries, dual ovens. The floors usually will be hardwood or engineered hardwood floors. And then throughout the house, you'll see other upgraded features like wainscoting or crown molding. Now, depending on how far out of the city these homes are, a lot of these homes also will be on their own individual wells and on their own septic systems. Now, the biggest difference between these homes and the traditional acreage properties, aside from the price, is that most of these high-end acreage properties have HOAs. In Idaho, if there are more than 5 homes on a street, that is considered to be a subdivision. And because all new subdivisions have HOAs here in Idaho, these homes will have HOAs as well. Typically, the HOA fee on these properties is anywhere between $600 to $1,200 a year, and the CC&Rs will usually restrict the number and type of pets you can keep on your property, vehicle storage. They may limit what types of signs you can put on your property and those kinds of things. Now, because these are high-end acreage properties, the CC&Rs really are intended to ensure that other people's properties don't get run down and dumpy, and then thereby drive down the value of all the properties in the area. Now, you'll find a lot of these properties in the Lake Lowell area, in South Nampa, in the newer developments of Star, and in Eagle. So what's it like to actually own a property like this? Well, I sat down with the owners of this property, who happen to be my parents, to talk about what it's like cost-wise and time-wise to maintain a property like this. It's actually kind of special for me because these are actually my parents. So maybe, Dad, just what is it like owning a sizable piece of property.
Well, when we were looking to buy a house, that was my number one criteria. I wanted acreage. And I knew that I wanted that because what I like about here is you can have good neighbors, but you also got space. And in that space, you can have freedom to do what you want. You don't have constraints of any kind. You get along with your neighbors. Everybody's cool. Everybody's nice.
Yeah, you have a bit of elbow room, right?
Quite a bit of elbow room. I like that. Yeah, for sure.
How many hours a week would you say you work on your yard?
That's a good question. First of all, I really like working out in the yard. I like being outside. I like the sunshine and just the fact of getting my hands dirty with plants and stuff of that sort. I have, on my acre, I have a lot of grass to mow. I have a riding mower, a 48-inch mower, and it takes me 2 hours to mow front and back.
So you spend about 2 hours mowing?
2 hours just mowing.
And that's it?
No, there are other times during the rest of the year. There's all kinds of different punctual times. And if you go on what is the average, maybe I'll spend 5 hours extra a week doing weeding or cleaning up stuff, whatever like that. But then each of the seasons has its own time. In winter, everything's dead. So you start pruning trees. So my wife and I will spend a day just pruning everything, getting ready for spring. And then we start growing our plants and our flowers and our vegetables. And that takes a little bit of time. Then we'll spend a good day or more than a day planting our garden. And then throughout the summer, we have the stuff that's harvested. Into the fall, we have fruit trees. So we process all that stuff. And then in the fall comes all the fall stuff where all the leaves fall. And we'll spend a good amount of a Saturday or maybe two, depending on how the leaves fall, to pick up all that stuff, get ready for winter.
On average, you probably spend 8 hours a week, maybe, like doing yard work,
sure,
clipping, watering, that kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe 8 to 10.
So I've thought of this. So you don't have any kids in the house yet. I have 4 kids, you guys probably know by now. But I'm pretty busy with my kids and my family, and I'm remodeling my bathroom, so doing some work on my house. If I had another 8 hours of work to do on my yard, at the stage that I'm at in my life right now, I don't know that I'd be able to do it.
Well, what I like about it is we are retired, and so since we are retired, we personally don't want to just sit down and watch TV all afternoon or whatever. We really want to keep busy, and sometimes it's hard work.
Right.
But I feel like it keeps us strong and fit, keeps our muscles good. And I mean, I've known people that have worked until they're 85 out in a garden, and I think that's so fabulous.
Yeah.
So I want to be like that.
So you guys live on what I call a traditional acreage property. And a lot of these properties actually are on their own well. So what about you, Dad? Do you like having your own well?
Yes, I do. And the reason I do is because I get as much water as I want. I don't have to pay extra for water that I use. The only extra is the electricity to run the pump.
Now, do you think there's any disadvantages to having your own well?
There is one disadvantage, and it's a big one, that sometimes wells go dry. And we put in a well this past spring, and the prices just keep going exorbitant. I went from 80 feet from my original well to 178 now with this well here. But I got enough water to last me a lifetime.
How much does it cost you to put in the new well?
Well, this year it cost $32,000.
Yeah, so it's definitely an expense, but it has the advantages of you can use the water as you like, and you're not paying per gallon.
Right.
And the water kind of tastes better, actually.
The water is so delicious.
Good, clear, and fresh.
It's right out of the ground. Yeah, hasn't been processed.
What about like septic? You were telling me earlier, actually, you like having your own septic tank.
I do, for the same reason, that the city can't keep telling me how much more I have to pay for it. But all the septic responsibility is mine. I treat it monthly, put some enzymes into the septic tank just flush it down the toilet.
How much does that cost?
You buy a bag of 12 for like $15. So,
okay.
And then every 4 to 5 years, you have someone come in and pump it out. And it's $300, $350.
And then maybe just kind of give us an idea of what you pay for electricity. So actually, before you answer that, your house is 2,200 square feet.
Right.
You have a large shop. You have a pool that runs full time. You have a pump for your well that you run whenever you use water. So you have a number of things that you're operating on electricity. So how much does all of that cost you per month on average?
Well, it depends on the season. In the summer, because my pool pump is running 24/7 or almost 24/7 every day for 3-4 months. It's only in the summertime. And we have air conditioner, which we use sometimes because it gets hot in Boise, but not every day. And so in the summertime, the electricity cost can rise up for maybe a month or two of $200, $220. In the wintertime, it drops way down because all I have is just my well pump and everything's on gas. Everything else is on gas, and that goes up. In the summer, gas is real low. I just pay the cost to maintain the meter, which is like $6 a month. In the wintertime, I pay $180 or so, the highest maybe, $150, $180, the highest in the winter for the furnace and water heater.
I think one thing I love the most too is I feel like I live in the country. The store is 5 minutes away. So I really feel like you have the best of both worlds. You feel like you're a little bit in the country, but you're close to everything.
Thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, hit the like button, and if you want more, check out this video next.